Well, it's getting toward the end of the fall harvest season here at my ranch, and I thought I would do one more video just to show you how my garden ultimately made out. The last time that I did one of these videos, we had a couple of plants that really hadn't taken off yet, so I'm happy to report that a couple of those have now put on some fruits and hopefully vegetables. Some of them are underground, so we're going to take a look and see what happened there. There are others that unfortunately reached the end of their lifespan, and so I'm going to show you those as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out. In the bad news department, my melon plants just really didn't take off. I think that, that week or two that they didn't get enough water just really did them in. So unfortunately, my cantaloupe, honeydew, and pumpkin plants just didn't put on any sizable fruit. Now, you'll recall that I got a couple of small cantaloupes and I opened those up and they did taste like mature adult cantaloupes. It's actually very sweet. That's really good. But they were just really, really small. They were kind of like personal minis. So not really what I was intending, but I did get to at least taste the fruit of my labor, pun intended, and they were delicious. So I will try those again next year, probably planting those a little bit earlier and making sure that they get plenty of water. Winning the category for the most improved, we have my carrot plants. If you recall, every video that I have done of my carrot plants has shown them to be really, really small, and all of a sudden they just really took off. I think they just finally found their footing, again, pun intended, and I'm excited to try and pull one of these up. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one up because it seems like it's one of the larger ones. So let's see what we get here. Look at that. Wow, it's got a little bit of an extra sidearm there. Kind of an interesting shape, but I have my first carrot of the season. Let's try one more. Let's try one of these smaller ones. I'm gonna let those go for a little bit longer. Let's try one of these over here that's a little bit bigger. Let's see what this one is like. Look at that, really bizarre.
I don't know about carrots. I don't know nothing about that.
Not the prettiest carrot, but a carrot nonetheless. So there you have it. I've got a couple of carrots there, and I'm not gonna pull that one yet either. I don't need a whole lot of carrots right now. So with these two, I think I'm gonna be okay for today. So I'll go ahead and put these in my basket, and we'll continue on. Here we have the yellow banana peppers, the hot banana peppers, and there's a lot here that I need to harvest as well. Some of these got a little bit too long, but they will still be delicious, so that is great. These cages really helped out to give a little more structure to the plant and allow it to grow a little bit more upright. You recall in the last video, it really was leaning quite a bit, so that was not good. And I actually let a couple of these go a little too long. These actually are jalapenos. Some of these are huge. Look at that, ginormous. And some of these got overly ripe and turned red. That one's kind of greenish red. And these are like full-on red. So I'm excited to taste those, but definitely did great with the peppers this season.
Wow, it was great!
Here I have my Tabasco plant, and this one as well is putting on a lot of peppers. I've got some that are red, a lot that are yellow, and so I've got a lot here to pick, but this is great. I'm really happy with the way this plant produced. What I like to do with these peppers is put them in vinegar in a jar and then use the vinegar as kind of a sauce, a condiment for soups and other things. You can put it on chips, a little spicy vinegar sauce. So I like that a lot. So I will put those in my basket along with these as well. My bell pepper plant is still putting on really nice bell peppers. Real happy with this plant. I'm gonna take a couple of these back. Actually, I'm gonna take this one here because it looks like it's getting overly ripe. So let me grab my clippers. Look at that, nice bell pepper. So these Bonnie green bell peppers, I think I will try and do those again next year as well. My Bush Goliath hybrid tomatoes finally started to ripen up. Look at this. I got a couple in here. That one's got a little bit of some blemish to it. Looks like it may have gotten attacked by some insects. So that's a perfect one to give to my chickens. And the way I do that is simple. Just throw it over the fence and wait for them to find it. The other ones that I've got here, I have another one of those same plants right here. And this one also has some good fruit. Look at that. Kind of an interesting shape. It's like a face. So this one here, I'm probably gonna take off as well and let it ripen in the house, because otherwise you can see it's gonna succumb to insect attack as well. So I'll put these in my basket. My basil plant is also doing really well. One thing you'll notice is if you don't trim back your basil, it will start to put on flowers. Now, the top here is edible. Even the little flowers, they are edible, but most people want to plant basil for the leaves. This is what you would add, for example, to that caprese salad, the mozzarella, tomato, and basil with the balsamic vinaigrette that I mentioned. You would use the leaves for that. So one way to promote your basil plant to continue to put on leaves instead of flowers is to trim the flower buds. Now, when you do that, the plant will put on more energy into making more of the leaves as opposed to trying to go into the flowering stage. And I have tons of these little cherry tomatoes, these husky cherry red tomatoes, tons of them, and they are so delicious. I love these. They're really, really good in salads. These two are actually getting a little frisky. Look at that. Oh, I just broke it. Oh no, the tomato plant was trying to come over into the basil, but I just snapped it off. Oh man, I'm sorry, tomato plant. Well, you got plenty of other cherry tomatoes going, so I'm not too sorry for you, but I was trying to show you how this was intertwined with the basil, but I got a little aggressive there. These stems are a little bit brittle, so you got to be real careful, as I just showed you. You can actually see here that this one bent over the support here, and it's still growing, so I'm gonna leave it alone, but you can see that it put a kink in it, and just the weight of the tomato made that lop over like that. So you got to be careful. That's why having these structures is important. You can see that it does brace against the sides, so that's why I like to use cages where I can, and allows these plants to grow straight and up, and you can still get access to the fruit very easily just by reaching in and grabbing it like that. Well, unfortunately, one of the plants that's on its last legs is my okra plant. As you can see, I still have a couple of okra to collect. This one will be delicious because it's not too big. Let me grab my clippers for that one. So I'm just gonna clip that one there and grab that one. So that's perfect size right there. The other ones that get to be this big, I will also harvest, and I will dry them out and use that for seed pods for next year, so I can plant more okra in a subsequent season. So I will take this one. It's too long to eat. It'll be really fibrous and tough, but I will let that dry out and harvest the seeds inside for next year. Well, I think my zucchini squash and my crookneck squash plants really have seen better days. It looks like I've still got some small ones growing here, so that's good. You can see there's a small one here still growing, and looks like we've got a really small one right here as well. A couple of small ones down here that are growing. So I'm gonna let those continue to grow, but these plants really have kind of matured and they're on the downside of their lifespan, but that's okay. You know, they produced a lot of fruit, so real proud of those plants and what they did for me.
I'm proud of you, you know that. I hope you do.
The broccoli, as you can see, it just got annihilated. I think these are grasshoppers that did this. They must really like broccoli because they just totally devastated my broccoli plants. Almost every leaf, without exception, has been chewed through. I was able to harvest broccoli once, but given all the work that went into making these broccoli plants grow, I think I might not do broccoli next year and might try something different. Even this one over here, look at that. It's all the leaves just super chewed up. Here I have my long red cayenne pepper plant. You can see that I braced it finally with some bamboo. Bamboo is a great product. These things look like wooden dowels, and they're as strong, if not stronger than wooden dowels. But this is actually bamboo, which is a grass. People don't know that, but bamboo is a grass, and it is a sustainable product. So when it's harvested, it grows back, and it just grows back thick and lush, and it's a good renewable natural product, and it makes for great supports for your garden. So I'm really happy with that. And look, I've got some peppers growing on this thing finally. They're just green, so I'm gonna let those wait until they turn red, but I'm finally seeing this thing put on some peppers, which is fantastic. So I'm gonna give that a little bit longer, but I just wanted to show you that even if your plants look like they are in the dumps, there is a way to resurrect them with a little TLC as long as they've got sufficient water and sunlight. and you don't put too much water, they will actually revive and take off. Because this one, as you recall, it was really struggling. And now I think I'm gonna actually get some peppers out of it. Another one of my plants that has started to take off now that I put these cages around it is my peas, my snap peas. Well, this just says peas, but I think these are snap peas. Maybe somebody can tell me if they know. I don't recall what variety this was. But they're actually putting on some peas. Look at that. So I'm gonna clip those off there, and I actually got some peas out of this thing. So I see some other ones growing here, some other pea pods. Maybe I just gotta snap these things open and check them out. Let's see. Let's try and open one of these. Look at that. So I guess I have to shell these to get to the peas. I've never grown peas before. This is my first time. But look at that. Got little peas in there. Peas in a pod. I'm gonna go ahead and shell these like that. And how about that? I've got some peas to cook up. So I'm gonna collect a few of those pods as they continue to grow, and I will shell them and take out the little peas inside. I've got some more here that I'm gonna go ahead and collect here in a little bit, but really happy with the way that these plants are taking off. Look at that. Love these structures. I think that they are really great. They're not as sturdy as the round ones, which you see here that I've used before around my other creeping plants, like my cucumber, which is another plant, unfortunately, that has seen better days. I'm not sure if this one's ever gonna really take off again, but these things were great. I just couldn't find them on Amazon anymore. I couldn't find them anywhere on the internet. So I don't know what happened to the company.
Secret.
But these are fantastic because they collapse. I think I've shown you in other videos. They collapse flat and they're super strong. I mean, they're really thick. And you can tell that these are just not as thick. They're a lot thinner and they're a little bit weaker, but they still serve a purpose. And so real happy with the way that those turned out, given that I wasn't able to find the circular ones. Probably my best surviving plant is this Swiss chard. I mean, look at how lush that is. It just has been growing like a champ from day one.
Well, I'm up and I am fired up because I have figured it out.
I'm just really happy with the way that the Swiss chard has done in my garden. I mean, look how thick these bases are. I mean, look at that. I can barely wrap my hand around that. I mean, look at that. That is a thick Swiss chard base. And the leaves just look really nice. They don't seem as susceptible to insect attack. I mean, you do see that there is something that chewed on that there, and there as well. But for the most part, they really do seem to be insect proof on some level. Maybe the grasshoppers just don't prefer it to the broccoli, which they destroyed. I don't know, but I will continue to grow Swiss chard in the future because it just really does well out here. And I love Swiss chard. I love these leaves. They make for a great side dish to almost any meal that I make. As I mentioned before, my cucumber plant just did not do well. That weekend where it didn't get enough water, I think really just did it in. I mean, cucumbers require a lot of water for them to grow properly, and I just don't think it ever was able to fully recover from that. My dill plants, on the other hand, I mean, look at this. They are just going like gangbusters. Finally, I was really happy to see that. I love dill. It makes a great herb. You can add it to a lot of different things. You can add it to some creamy sauces, and it just makes for a really fragrant and pleasant smelling herb. I also like to grow dill because it attracts the swallowtail caterpillars, actually the butterflies that lay the eggs that turn into caterpillars. But those swallowtail caterpillars are really bright and vibrant and unique, and they have an interesting defense mechanism when something approaches them, which I can't wait to show you. If I ever get some that come and start creeping around on my dill plant, I will make sure to do a video, a cool critters video of that. Usually they do come out more so in the spring than in the fall. So I'm gonna try and grow dill again in the spring, and hopefully we'll do a video and show you what that looks like. My rosemary also is doing really well. I've been using this from time to time and adding it to some of the chicken dishes I've been making and some of the lamb steaks that I have bought from the store. I will put some rosemary on top, and it's just a wonderful herb. I really like it. Of course, my asparagus is just, doing its thing. It hasn't really stopped. Probably got a few in here that are a little bit, maybe a little too waterlogged. That's why they're a little yellow. So I need to be careful with the watering on that particular plant. But I've had that asparagus for a long time, and it's kind of the oldest member of my garden. And so I kind of just keep it around more for the memories than for the production from it. I don't really harvest a whole lot of asparagus from it, but it also attracts little critters like that. Hey there, buddy. And finally, my spearmint is just really lush and doing well. You can see how lush this is. I like to take a few of these sprigs as well and add them to my iced tea. I love the flavor of spearmint in my iced tea. And these plants, look at this. I mean, they are just super creeping plants. It's even creeping out in between the slats. I mean, it's
that you do.
It's absolutely insane. And look at these runners right here. There's one right here, look. So that's why I say you got to be careful what you grow in your garden, because you do have plants that will sometimes just overtake everything. You saw that with the zucchini squash. It just really overtook the broccoli plants. And this is another one. Spearmint is another one that will just really overtake the entire box if you let it. So you got to be careful with that. All right, so that is going to be the last video for me for this fall harvest season. I hope you enjoyed this series as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. And if you did your own garden this year, please share with me your own success stories or your failures as well, so that we can all learn from each other and try to make our gardens even better in subsequent years. There's going to be some hits and there's also going to be some misses. That's just part of the journey, but hey, that's just part of life. So try and do your best and learn from things that worked and from things that didn't work so well, so that in the future you will put your energy into those things that have the best chance of success where you live. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my YouTube channel at Rancher Mike. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be informed of new content as I release it. I wish you luck with your gardens, and until next time, take care. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up below. You can also check out one of my other videos here, and stay up to date by subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. Until next time, I'll see you on the ranch.